This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Let's jump into some questions. We got lots of questions from fans this week. This one comes to us from Ringside Rant Jones. He says, she came to WWE with an amateur wrestling background. Mark Henry had the powerlifting background. Do you think it would be wise for men and women who want to be successful in the professional wrestling business to come from a similar background?
Oh, without a doubt. I think athletic backgrounds are the most crucial to be in professional wrestling. When you have an athletic background and you have a good base, you have something to work with. And I think that any athlete that parlays into pro wrestling will have a much better shot at succeeding at pro wrestling than not interjecting in any athletics at all.
Here's another one here. This one comes to us from Jason Bayless. He says, in your opinion, did the Silverback thing have any legs at this point, or are they just booking a monster for him to beat?
You mean call Mark a Silverback?
Yeah.
Well, I think that, come on, the guy's as big as the Silverback. He was a monster. He's a big dude, and he's considered the strongest guy in the world. So I don't blame them for building him up as a monster, and they did a tremendous idea of it. They did a tremendous job of it. I thought it was very effective in that it really helped his character.
Here's another one here. This one comes to us from a friend of the show, Senior Phoebes. Hi, Kurt. Since Charles Robinson called your match at Judgment Day 06, I was curious if you had any favorite referees. And by the way, shout out to Charles. I know he listens every week, Kurt.
Hey, Charles. How you doing, buddy? Miss you, brother. My favorite was Brian Hebner, Baby Heb. He was phenomenal because he understood the psychology of wrestling. It was like having a third wrestler in the ring with you. He wanted to know the entire match. So most referees come to you and say, what's the finish? What's the 3 count? What's the submission? They just want to know the finish so they get the finish right. And then they don't want to know anything else. But Brian wanted to know the whole entire match from beginning to end. And if you forgot the match while you're in the ring, Brian would remind you where you were going next. He was phenomenal. He just had it all in his head, and he was always well prepared. He was always over prepared, and I think that's what I loved about Brian.
Any favorite matches you remember or interactions with Charles you had over the years? Charles has been Little Nate for, I don't know, the better part of 20 years now.
Charles was a exceptional referee. I enjoyed working with him. He was great to work with. We just had a little incident that was unfortunate where he counted the wrong finish. And I can't remember who I was wrestling. Somebody, I can't remember who it was, but it was Booker T. And Booker beat me the first match. It was when I was stalking his wife, and he beat me the first match. We went to the second match, and I was supposed to win. Then we were going to have the blow-off match, the third match. Well, the second match that I was supposed to win, Charles counted me 3. He ended up pinning me. I might have kicked out a little late, but I used to do that quite a bit. I had a reputation of it. And Charles knew that. But he counted the 3. I think he just got messed up with who was supposed to go over. And so that ended our program before we even did a third match. So it was unfortunate Booker and I couldn't have a third match. And the main reason was because Charles messed up on the finish. But Charles didn't do that very often. He was a great referee. He just had a bad night.
Tyler Rogers wants to know, was it Vince's idea to use the announcer's table at the end?
The announcer's table with Mark Henry?
Yes.
No, it was one of the agents, I believe Johnny Laurinaitis. He felt that we needed to do something after the count out to help save the match, to make it more of a quality match and to keep the fans happy. So they wanted the babyface to angle slam the heel through the table. And it was a great idea because it did work. It actually made the match a little better. Considering it was a fizzled out finish.
Here's another one. This is from Jay. He says, having worked so much together and sharing an Olympic background, did you and Mark Henry ever train together or work out together? If so, what was he like in the gym?
I never trained with Mark after the Olympics. Before the Olympics, we were both at the Olympic Training Center. We trained together quite a bit. He was a strong individual, very hard worker, went to the gym 3 times a day, was there all the time. He was primed to win a gold medal in the Olympics. Unfortunately, he got injured right before the Olympics and couldn't put on his best performance. I trained with him quite a bit at the Olympic Training Center.
Richie says, hey, Kurt, you jumped to the ECW brand right after this pay-per-view. Did you know going into this show, this would be your last match on the SmackDown brand?
I didn't know because I didn't decide whether I was going to quit or not until I joined ECW. So I didn't know it was my last match on SmackDown or forever, or at least for 11 or 12 years. But I wouldn't have known that because I didn't know I was going to quit yet. So unfortunately, not knowing, I just went to ECW, and that's where things got worse, and I decided I need to step out of the company.
We also want to remind everybody during this time period, SmackDown is going to be going through some changes. It's reported on May 10th that while plans could change because the network debut wasn't official, the last SmackDown on UPN looked to be September 15th, and the first SmackDown on the new CW network would be on September 22nd. Is this something that you're even really paying attention to? I mean, obviously, it's a big station, but to go from UPN to CW, did that matter at all from a performer standpoint?
No, I mean, they're both major networks,
Right.
Going to CW, we were actually looking forward to it because it was a brand new network and it was something new and we were excited about it. So switching over from UPN to CW, I don't think made much of a difference, but I think mentally for us, it gave us a little kickstart.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.